Time to talk weather, my friends. Hi there, Carson Meredith with you on this Sunday night. May the 4th be with you. Shout out to those Star Wars fans out there. Hope you've had a good Sunday despite the wet weather. All in all, the 10 days looking okay. No alert days at this point, which is nice. A nice change of pace. But there are obviously some bumps in the road that we will be continuing to monitor as we slowly recover from our Derby coverage over the last week or so. Hopefully you're able to recover from all your Derby festivities. Weather Geeks watched us on YouTube tonight. Says hello. Hope you had a great Derby. Yeah, it was good. It all, a lot of our team has probably been laying low, resting today. I wish you guys could see the gargantuan effort it takes to pull off our coverage every single year of the Derby. And we knock it out of the park. Our team behind the scenes knocks it out of the park every single year, and they did it again this year. So we hope you enjoyed that coverage throughout this past week or so. Olivia's watching us tonight. She saw a couple peaks of sun in Bethlehem around 5 o'clock this evening. Olivia, you are a exception rather than the norm today. A lot of us have been sucked into that cloud cover because it is this cutoff low just not going anywhere, unfortunately. James, talking about I65, shut down again in the same exact spot almost from where we had that jackknife semi earlier this morning. James, I appreciate the segue because that's where I'm going to lead off tonight. That is the live view of I65 and Spaghetti Junction yet again. This is the third major crash this weekend involving a 18-wheeler in this exact same spot in Spaghetti Junction. It is right as you get off the Kennedy Bridge coming out of Indiana into Kentucky. And I guess there's that little bend as you're going into downtown, right as you get off the Kennedy Bridge going on 65, and something's going on. I mean, this is the third wreck in the exact same spot this weekend. I don't know if there's ponding in that spot that's causing these semis to lose control, or is it just the fact that a lot of people can't drive in the rain? Maybe it's a combination of both. I don't know. But regardless, 65 southbound in Spaghetti Junction for the third time this weekend is closed. So if you're in southern Indiana and you need to get to Louisville tonight, don't mess with the Kennedy. Just take the 2nd Street Bridge, or if you have to, just loop around to the East End Bridge, because this will be closed again for several hours. I mean, I saw this. I didn't see the wreck actually happen, but I'm getting my show ready for you tonight, and I look at our SkyTrack camera, and I had to take a double take for a second. I was like, well, now, wait a minute. I thought they reopened 65. Sure enough, they did. And here we go again. So heads up for those of you that were planning to get to Louisville tonight from southern Indiana, because 65 is closed again. Something's going on there. I don't, again, it could just be people going too fast in the rain. I was coming back into work today and people were going way too fast. People just think they're invincible. I don't get it. But anyway, hopefully everybody's okay. We haven't gotten any information as to the condition of anybody involved in this wreck, but obviously it's going to cause yet another traffic issue through this evening. And I guarantee you the weather had something to do with it. Here's radar tonight. We haven't seen a ton of heavy rain today. There's been a couple of heavier pockets of rain in the mix, but more than anything else, we've seen more greens on radar tonight as opposed to yellows and oranges and reds. And that trend is going to continue tonight and throughout the day on Monday as well. You can see the most widespread rain is across our central Kentucky counties at this hour, just south of Louisville. So if you're in Hardinsburg, Brandenburg, E-Town, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Greensburg, Columbia, Mumfordville, Hodgettville, Bardstown, that rain is fairly steady at this hour. Further north you go, those showers become a little more scattered And that's going to be the trend, thankfully, over the next 24 hours. We're still going to have showers around. There will be pockets of steadier rain, like I have circled here in central Kentucky, but we're slowly but surely going to reduce that shower coverage bit by bit by bit, starting tonight, overnight, but especially throughout the day tomorrow. I'm optimistic there's going to be more dry time tomorrow. Not totally dry, but there will be more pockets of dry time compared to what we've had today. That is for sure. Let me pop up the rainfall total since midnight. If you remember last night, Louisville had around a third of an inch of rain, just above that mark. And so far since midnight today, we've had about 7/10 of an inch of rain in Louisville. So add it all up, we're likely at just over an inch of rain here in the metro this weekend. And unfortunately, we're going to add another, I'd say, 1/10 to quarter inch of rain to that bucket overnight tonight and throughout the day on Monday. Back to the comments we go. Shonda's watching. Hello, hello. CK says, hope everybody's all right there on 65. Yeah, absolutely. If we hear anything one way or the other, we'll pass it along on all of our digital platforms and on the news tonight at 11 as well. Yeah, Gary, that first wreck earlier today, that semi was hanging off of I65. I don't know what it is with semi trucks hanging off of bridges in this town. It's very bizarre. Of course, we all remember that wild footage of the 2nd Street Bridge accident last year. There were no injuries in that wreck earlier today, by the way. No serious injuries, thankfully. Let's see. Scott says it's raining in St. Matthews. Yeah, if you're not seeing that steady rain, it's that misty stuff, you know. It's been a horrible day to be outside. just straight up. It's not been a very nice day outside. I guess it's a good thing it's the day after Derby because, again, everybody can kind of lay low and relax. So the question now is, how much longer do we have to deal with this nonsense? Well, you could kind of tell with the swirl that the cutoff low is still nearby. So you're just going to keep having this rain swirl and swirl and swirl and swirl around. Likely through at least tomorrow evening. So like this time tomorrow evening, we may finally start to dry things out. So we've got a solid 24 hours to go with this cutoff low before it finally jets to the north and east. It gets picked up and sent on its way. And I really think by Monday night, late Monday night, we'll finally start to see that rain chance come to an end. And Tuesday looks pretty dry. But until then, we're going to see these waves of showers, waves of steady or light rain, and then mist and drizzle. So just a messy, messy setup, I'm afraid. The big picture view, I mean, look how massive this system is. It's unbelievable. You got rain all the way up into Michigan, Cleveland, Ohio, up near Buffalo, New York, into New England. Even a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, one in North Carolina, one in West Virginia, near that cold front. The North Carolina storm kind of influenced by that cold front. This severe storm in West Virginia is actually kind of influenced by that low pressure that's over Ohio at this hour. So we don't have to worry about severe weather, but this low just does not want to go. And we're stuck with it for at least another 24 hours, I'm afraid. Kathy sums it up well. So tired of the rain in Trimble County for the last 2 months. No kidding. It's been a very, very wet spring. There is no question about that. So for tonight, the rain chance, I'll keep it at 60%. That means there is a 60% chance, basically, that you're going to see showers or steady rain at some point tonight. And quite frankly, if you're not seeing that steady rain or those showers, you're still dealing with that mist, that drizzle. So if you have to be out overnight tonight, please be careful. And please, for goodness sakes, be smart. Slow down. This isn't Talladega, okay? I'm a racing fan. This is not Talladega. This is an interstate or a 4-lane road. Just be smart. Give yourself an extra 10 or 15 minutes to get to your destination, be it overnight tonight or early tomorrow morning, because I think the roads will be a mess tomorrow morning as well, with just being wet as it is. And then you're going to have those typical low-lying spots that have ponding throughout the Monday morning drive. It's a cold rain too. It's the worst, right? 48's our forecast low here in the city tonight. Mid 40s elsewhere. Woo, jackets for sure heading out the door tomorrow morning. There's also that chance for some patchy fog, especially if you're not seeing that steadier rain. The things can kind of settle down when you don't have that rain falling. It's just that mist. And that might lead to some fog. I think the more widespread fog concern is going to be Monday night into Tuesday morning, as opposed to tonight and tomorrow morning. But nonetheless, there could be some patchy fog out there overnight tonight. Let's go through the day tomorrow. You notice the rain chances are a bit lower. I don't want to say rain chances. I don't want to say that. I want to say rain coverage, because there will still be rain around tomorrow. It's just there's not going to be quite as much rain as what we dealt with yesterday and what we dealt with today. It's a 40% chance for more scattered showers on Monday. That means more pockets of dry time, but that doesn't mean you can put the umbrella away tomorrow, or the ponchos or raincoats, whatever you might have. So certainly take it slow in the morning. I got a high of 60 in Louisville tomorrow. I'm trying to be optimistic in the sense that this more scattered rain coverage might allow the temperatures to climb a little bit more, as opposed to being socked into that rain all day like we were today. Even so, a lot of you are stuck in the 50s again tomorrow. And remember, our average high this time of year is 75. We're not even close to that mark as we go through the day on Monday. Here's Futurecast. This is for tonight and tomorrow. While I am talking to you on Wave News at 11 tonight, I will most certainly still be tracking that lighter rain across the entire region. And I mean, let's rewind this. Watch Futurecast. Look at how all the rain just swirls literally right on top of us. If it'll go. See that? It just keeps spinning right on top of us. That low pressure is smack dab over wave country right now. So you're just going to have these spinning waves of showers around overnight tonight into Monday morning. But you notice how that rain coverage drops off a little bit tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be more scattered. I don't think we're looking at a washout necessarily tomorrow, but it's still going to be cool. It'll still be damp. And we'll still have some of those showers around. Just light showers. I'm not worried about heavy rain. I'm not too worried about flooding. My only flooding concern would be ponding on roadways, okay? You notice the heavier activity stays to our north and east tomorrow, up across southern Ohio. So that all stays north and east of us. We just deal with the hit and miss showers. Not as many showers tomorrow, but still enough to keep the umbrella handy. And then tomorrow night, at long last, this low slowly starts to move north and east. And you notice we get towards 11 o'clock tomorrow night, while there's still a couple of showers around, the end is in sight late tomorrow night. And Tuesday looks pretty good. Not only with lower rain chances, and in fact, I think a lot of us are dry on Tuesday. But look at those high temps on Tuesday. Nice. Very nice. Chamber of Commerce, it looks like. A mix of sun and clouds, but highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. Not bad at all for Tuesday. Tomorrow, yeah, still not great. Still not great. All right, back to the comments we go. Jacob's asking about the Omega block. Yes, indeed. That is the big picture weather pattern we have across the U.S. Low pressure to the west, low pressure to the east. The low pressure to the east is what's making things so wet here right now, with a little wedge of high pressure in between. Is that going to bring drier weather for us? Well, the Omega block pattern is going to break down. That low that's over us now, it's going to move away from us tomorrow night. And that'll allow that ridge of high pressure in the middle part of the country to slide into our area on Tuesday. That'll keep things nice and quiet on Tuesday. But then we have to look at the low pressure in the west. That's going to give us a rain chance by the middle of the week, which we will talk about here in just a moment. Let's see. Does a wet spring mean a dry summer? Not necessarily. I'll be very candid with you. I have not looked at the deep extended outlook just yet, but not necessarily. There's going to be some dry time in the summer for sure, extended dry time, but it's too early to say if it's going to be bone dry necessarily. We've had so much rain this spring, hopefully that would kind of delay the drought a little bit, but we'll see. We will see. Dee's a fan of this setup. Cold, damp, kind of feels like fall. Yeah, that's fair. This would be great football watching weather if it was like November. You know, you have a good excuse to not go out on a Sunday. So you go to church, you go to lunch, then you go home and you can just curl up and watch some football all afternoon, right? Yeah, Derby week was fun. It was busy. I'm on my 10th day in a row working, but that's all right. It was worth it. Let's see. Tanya, are we going to have any dry time for a long period? Perhaps, in fact. Not too far away, maybe. I'll show you that in the 10 days we wrap things up tonight. Let's talk about those rain chances for midweek. Remember last night, we were discussing that low pressure in the west, part of the Omega block. It's going to keep moving across the southern U.S. as the week goes on, while at the same time, you've kind of got this trough in the northeastern part of the country. How will these two interact? Well, at this point, we still have rain chances for the middle part of the week, Wednesday and Thursday. Kind of a two-parter here, if you will. So the low pressure across Missouri, or rather Arkansas and Oklahoma, it's going to try to nudge to the north just a little bit on Wednesday. And as it does so, it might bring a couple of scattered showers, especially in Kentucky. Shouldn't be a huge deal. But as we go into the day on Thursday, that trough in the north and east is going to bring a cold front through, it appears. That would probably give us a higher chance of showers, maybe a couple of storms. I'm not worried about severe weather on Thursday at all. In fact, I think the thunderstorm chance is kind of iffy at best. But nonetheless, if that front moves through on Thursday and models are becoming more and more in agreement that that is going to be the case, that front is going to nudge that low pressure to the south as we get towards Friday and into next weekend. And if that were to be the case, then that means Mother's Day weekend is looking pretty good for now. Now, remember this time a week ago, we said Derby weekend would look good. It didn't work out, unfortunately. So still early in the ball game. You notice this is the European model that you see on this map. It does want to bring in another disturbance on Mother's Day itself next Sunday that might give us a few showers. Not everybody's in agreement on that. So right now, I'm fairly optimistic we can be dry on Mother's Day weekend for the most part. Just a 10 or 20% shower chance at this point. But once the 70s return on Tuesday, they're here to stay for sure. We'll be in the mid 70s, it appears, next weekend. I've got 78 for Mother's Day next Sunday. And as we pop up the 10-day here, you will notice next week, the 80s make a comeback. Not the decade, but the temps. Although some of you probably want the decade to come back. I can think of quite a few people who do. And who was asking about some extended dry weather? I can't remember. I apologize. Tanya was asking about it. Well, if we can get that Thursday front to push everything south and we get a dome of high pressure to settle in, we're going to have a nice stretch of mostly dry weather starting Friday, going through Mother's Day weekend and into early next week. So that's kind of where I'm leaning at this point. But again, as we just saw this past weekend, things can change rather quickly. So stay tuned for updates on that Mother's Day weekend forecast in particular. But right now, things are looking good for the weekend. Things are looking good. We got the showers to deal with still tonight and tomorrow. And then we'll have maybe a few showers Wednesday, perhaps some thunder on Thursday. But nothing severe. Nothing severe is in the cards anytime soon. No alert days. All green. And I hope we can keep that going for a while. Hopefully so. A few more comments. I'm going to keep this brief tonight, guys, because we obviously don't have any alert days to talk about. And you all know it's raining. And it's going to keep raining. So keep it short and sweet tonight. Let's see. Shonda says, I was not planning to turn the heat back on, but I caved in. Yeah, it's right on that border, right? In the low 50s. Do you power through, or do you have to crank the heat back on? I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. All this rain is throwing off Jacob's mowing schedule. No kidding. I'm sure. Hopefully by Tuesday you can get some dry time, maybe a little sun to dry out the ground a little bit. But yeah, the grass is growing quickly in all of the yards this year, right? Sick of the rain and cold, wants 86 and low humidity. Boy, that does sound good, doesn't it? That's the key, low humidity, though, once you get into the mid-80s like that. Olivia says her cat likes me. Love it. Well, tell your cat, Olivia, thanks for watching. And thank you for watching as well. Lauren, would be cool if we went back to the 80s. See, I knew a lot of you would be, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll show my age here. I'd like to go back to the 2000s. It was a simpler time, and I didn't know it. Anyway. Tanya says, are we done with the chilly weather? Once we get past tonight and tomorrow, I do think we're going to moderate back to where we should be. I don't want to say we're done with cold spells, where we have highs in the 50s or 60s once or twice. But we'll get at least a break in the cooler weather once we get past tonight and tomorrow as we climb back into the 70s and eventually the 80s, it looks like, in about a week. Lamar says, thanks for the updates. Of course, that's what we're here for. Kathy says, thunder on Thursday, perhaps. Again, we're not worried about severe. There just might be some rumbles as that cold front tries to move through. Thanks to the Wave Weather team for all your coverage during this busy week. Or the bomb.com. I haven't heard that in a while, Jacob. I appreciate it. Yeah, we all appreciate it. It's been a crazy week, obviously, with the string of alert days we had, with all the severe storms that we had, and then we're trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do at Churchill Downs? Who's going to be at the station in case the crew at the track had to take cover, which did happen. But it all worked out. Lauren says 2000 would be fine too. See? All right. I am showing my age. I know. I'm sorry. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. I appreciate you all tuning in as always. Not just on our updates here on Wave Weather Now, but throughout the entire week, this past week leading up to Derby and all the severe weather we had to take care of in between the races and the festival events and things like that. So thankfully it appears, slowing things down for a moment. We'll take the break. Just watch for the showers tonight. Be careful heading out in the morning. Don't be a fool on the roads. Slow down, please. What difference does it make if you get to your destination 5 minutes later? Just saying. So just be careful as you head out tonight and in the morning. We'll have those showers around tomorrow, and then we get a little break on Tuesday. Then we'll watch that midweek rain and maybe thunder chance too. But all in all, things are looking relatively quiet, at least in the short term. And I am not complaining about that. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Appreciate you watching. Brian's off tomorrow, getting some well-deserved rest from this past week. So Storm Talk will likely return on Tuesday of this week. And until then, you guys take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I will see you guys tonight at 11. And then I'll be back here next weekend. Take care. See you soon.